Hello, good to have you come back, and a big welcome to new viewers. Okay, I'm trying something new this month, so in this video, I will give you the planetary rundown for the month of October 2023, and after that, I will give a synopsis of the month for how it will affect each sign. I might break it up into two videos, like first six signs, and then the second video will have the second six signs. Please do comment whether this new approach works for you or whether you would rather have a video for each individual sign. I would really love your feedback on that. I will also do a quick general recap of September 1st. It will be super quick, don't worry, because there are still some stuff not finished from our efforts from then. Okay, so let's get straight into this. This month of October, I have titled and themed it as Finally, and Here We Go. There's a question mark. Mainly because, as you may have guessed, Mercury is direct and out of its retrograde shadow in Virgo. Venus is finally direct and coming out of its very long transit of Leo. Um, Even though it will be in its most uncomfortable place in Virgo, but that's neither here or there. Mars and then later Mercury leaves Libra and enters Scorpio, and finally gets us moving in that area of our lives with no disruptions of retrogrades and such. Well, the outer planets are in retrograde, but the inner planets will not. And we have a solar eclipse and another lunar eclipse. We also have the beginning of the end of the final end of an era, as Pluto in Capricorn turns direct this month and completes its unfinished business. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but next year it will finish its tour of Capricorn. So, yeah, it'll be an end of an era because it's been there for about 15 years. Now, the quick recap of September. So, even though Mercury was retrograde for most of September, because it hadn't cleared its shadow until a couple of days ago, we are all still very busy beavers with wherever Virgo fell in our personal lives. You would just take your sun sign and count that as house one and count down to Virgo to see where Virgo fell for you. As an example, if you are a Cancer, Cancer would be your first house, Leo your second house, and finally Virgo would fall as your third house, and so on. Okay, so generally Virgo rules the sixth house of service to others, daily habits and routines, scheduling, organization, health, small animals, hospitals, medicine, diseases, and so on. And also the three parts of your day, so work, fun, and sleep. So most of us, and whichever house Virgo rules for you guys, we were helping someone or a group of people out with some type of organization, scheduling, errands. It could have been a garage sale after clearing out clutter for an elderly parent, maybe, um, or someone that has passed, or sourcing material for uniforms or a project for a school play or an event. Maybe we were busy coordinating buses, people, friends, or family for a group trip. Maybe it was an extracurricular activity that was just simply thrown in our lap, or we simply just did it ourselves to finally take care of whatever project because of all the delays rather, reruns or switcheroos that Mercury in Virgo retrograde was causing. It could have included you medical professionals going back and forth regarding the reemergence of COVID or your shift schedules and new policies. So, whatever was on your plate, we did manage to take care of it, and we did have help, maybe even an old friend, lover, relatives, um, or two popped up from the past. And For some, that could have coincided when Ceres entered Scorpio at 00 degrees last month. Whatever the project, gathering, or issue, we are still not done. There's just some tiny stuff left over from that, and we will be wrapping up those loose ends this week and next. And towards the end of September, relationships regarding past, present, or potential partners, inclusive of business partners, contracts, friends, relatives, and groups, took some attention away from our scheduling, routines, and daily habits. There, as promised, the reason why of a short recap of September. See, that wasn't so bad. Okay, so we are looking at October's planetary lineup, and I'll quickly go through the headliners, as they say. I will be mentioning some aspects that are not on the lineup but are noteworthy. Um, so let me just mention why the question mark when I theme titled October as finally and here we go. Um, so the movement and excitement is coming from Mars and the Sun in Libra, aspecting Uranus. Even though Uranus is retrograde, it is still quite um, active. Remember, Uranus is in Taurus for the most part. It should be quiet and doing its retrograde aspect, but Uranus does not do quiet. Uranus is the planet of shock, surprise, electricity, the weather, and jolting things into action. So, what I'm trying to say, October feels like things are starting to move. For the most part, they will, especially with action oriented Mars speeding through and Uranus aspecting Mars and the Sun. But it is not a complete clean start to things or finish as well. We still have Venus finishing up business in Leo, Mercury the same in Virgo, and quite a few planets still retrograde, like I mentioned, at least for the first 2 weeks in October. But Uranus is going to surprise us this month, even though it is retrograde. I just wanted to stress that again. Anyway, let us move on. I just wanted you to be aware of some drag and a jolt or two in this month. Okay, so we had the first Mercury in Virgo aspect out of its shadow. It opposed Neptune in Pisces. Um, that was on the 2nd. Uh, and what I wanted to say about that many astrologers will just write this off as some sort of unclear message or miscommunication. However, it really is not that. I mean, it can be a little foggy, but it isn't because foggy. When I mention foggy, it's because Neptune and Pisces. Neptune rules fog. Um, but it is an understanding of the ethereal, or is it ethereal, or an awareness. It's not miscommunication so much because Mercury is the information planet and Virgo is detail oriented. Plus, Mercury is was out of its shadow when it made this aspect. So it's really I would classify it as an aha moment, if you will. Regarding your Virgo and Pisces houses, oh, and again, remember, I will give you a synopsis of how October's lineup will affect each sign towards the end. So for now, just take mental notes. All right, going back to this aspect, Mercury in Virgo, after its opposition to Neptune in Pisces, on October 3rd, Mercury in Virgo will make a trine to Pluto in Capricorn retrograde. That's an important aspect as well. Now, this is important because a few days ago, Mercury was in a trine to Uranus in Taurus. So, this Mercury in Virgo trine Pluto in Capricorn is a pleasing, informative aspect between your Virgo and Capricorn houses. Now, since both Pluto and Uranus are retrograde, Pluto coming to a station in a couple weeks, this information is a deeper understanding of your Virgo, Pisces, Capricorn, and Taurus houses. Yes, they're all related. To confuse you even further, excuse me, Venus will be in a quincunx with Neptune and Mars and Mars will join that quincunx, rather. But again, you will understand how this particular set of aspects will affect you as I explain for each sign. Okay, so on the 4th, Mercury entered Libra. Today, it's entering Libra at 00. Um, and Libra is 00. Remember when I said last month, I do like to mention when they're at 00, but of course it's a important aspect, Mercury entering Libra, but I like to mention the 00s. Um, so Mercury, the planet of information, is entering Libra, the planet of relationships and harmony. And then on the 8th, Venus enters Virgo. And finally it ends its Leo tour. And on the same day, Mars in Libra will square Pluto in Capricorn. I have over there power struggle, but remember, it's a hard aspect. But out of all the hard aspects, like I mentioned last month, I do like squares because they jolt things into action. A resolution is made out of a stalemate, and I like oppositions as well because again, you know where you stand there. Okay, and then on the 10th, Pluto finally in Capricorn stations direct. Um, and I will mention a little bit on that a little later. But on the same day, the Sun in Libra opposes Chiron in Aries, and those are the degrees there. Venus in Virgo will oppose Saturn in Pisces. And then October 12th, Mars enters Scorpio, and I that's when the action starts really. I mean, it has started with Mars in Libra, but Libra is also in the South Node, and there's still ongoing things with Libra. But with Mars, with Scorpio, it will be very fast moving. The Mars, Sun, and then Mercury. So on the 13th, Mars in Scorpio will trine Saturn in Pisces. Those are your degrees. On the 14th, we have a new moon solar eclipse in relationship and harmony Libra. So a new aspect in your Libra house. And let me just mention about eclipses. Eclipses are like I like to think they're like a commercial of a movie on or about the eclipse days. Um, so those weird, random, or maybe even out of place events, people, convos happening are a snapshot of what is to come. And usually eclipses are a 6 month energy to culmination. Could be longer, but usually it is within 6 months. So the eclipse event is a 24 or 48-hour commercial of the movie of your life for the next 6 months to a year or so. Also, in this, I have stated before the day planet station or the singular eclipse or singular eclipses event days is when to pay attention because that is what will resonate throughout time. I just wanted to note that for you guys. And predictive astrology is not so you think you can change what is written to happen. Um, we are very minuscule to these humongous planets, but it is for you to understand why it is happening. It is to make your journey a little bit smoother because some people, especially with the fixed signs, um, change for them is super hard, and some people get really anxiety conscious and what have you. So I predictive astrology is really to ease that anxiety and to know why it's happening or what's happening. I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so back to the lineup. On the 17th, Mercury in Libra will oppose Chiron in Aries. Those are your degrees. And on the 17th, Juno, the bride, enters Virgo at 00. So again, I like to mention the 00 aspects with asteroids. And on the 20th, Mercury in Libra will square Pluto in Capricorn. We had the sun do that, and I think Mars do that, or but now Mercury is doing that. So I'll explain that later. On the 22nd, Mercury enters Scorpio. So on the 12th, when Mars enters Scorpio, there will be action and heat. And then towards the end of the month, the information regarding that action or heat will come in. Um, and I will mention a little bit on that as well, mostly for Capricorn, because it has to do with their friends or groups. Um, and there's just some caution to take. On the 22nd, Mercury in Scorpio trine Saturn in Pisces. Nice, pleasing aspect. The 24th, Sun in Scorpio trine Saturn in Pisces. And on the 28th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. It is an ending or a culmination of your efforts. We do have some hard aspects during the full moon. So when I go through each sign, we'll figure out what kind of ending or culmination because of these hard aspects. Last month, I didn't give you that with Aries full moon eclipse, but this month I decided to do that so that you have a better clue or a better understanding of this ending or culmination. On the 29th, Mercury in Scorpio will conjunct Mars in Scorpio. Those are the degrees. And then on the 31st, it ends on a good note. Venus in Virgo will trine Uranus in Taurus. Very nice. And those are your degrees. Very nice here. Okay, so let me start with, I think I'm going to start with Sagittarius. And I know I don't start uh, traditionally like with Aries and down. I have a method to my madness. So let me pull up that chart. Hang. Okay. So hello Sagittarius. The main themes for you continues to be communication and gatherings with friends and groups. That's the Libra. Service to others, your health and daily routine scheduling, which relates to your career and status, your reputation, authority figures, um, charity work and publication, that's related to Virgo. Um, Setting up your work, academic, business venture, that's that has a combination of parts, but which is back from August, but that's that. And for those of you who have not moved yet, that will start in earnest sometime this month to next month. More on this later. Of course, the two eclipses this month, the solar and the lunar, the beginning and ending. And finally, most of you will start retreating for your yearly alone and rejuvenation time as Mars, the Sun, Mercury will move into Scorpio. Otherwise, most of you will be working on something behind the scenes or maybe even in secret. Yeah, that's your Scorpio. I'll just mention that many of you have had a few vivid dreams, maybe in August, maybe even earlier, and it could have been after a surprising or jarring event back in March or April. We have an opposition from Mercury in Virgo, your 10th house of career and status, to Neptune in Pisces, your fourth house of home and family and parenting or parents. This will shed some light on those dreams and other subconscious thoughts you have been dealing with. This is mostly about how you see yourself and your home family and your parents. Now, regarding this move, it seems to be a temporary move, or you will be almost living in two places from time to time. And at times, either place may feel confining, or you will deal with restrictions of some kind. Something about your living arrangement is a buy something. So, two. Meaning there is a need for you to be at two places at the same time or at different times. So, you will be splitting your time between two um, homes, so to speak. Even though some may see this as unbearable or realistic, for this Sagittarius, though, you will see it through, and you have been through a foggy lens, where you idealize something about it, and it becomes an escape, or you make it like a daydream. Whatever your living arrangements are, Neptune and Pisces have made you see a dreamy, idealistic side of an unrealistic home and family life. So it was trying to smooth that out for you. And it's just in your situation, that's how your home and family has been operating since Valentine's Day, 2012. That's when Neptune entered Pisces. But as I mentioned in your September horoscope, Saturn coming into Pisces in March this year has started to pull you back into reality and started teaching you that structure and foundation or stability in your home and family life is way past due. And you will start arranging your home and family life accordingly. Just be careful of alcohol and drugs since it is Neptune Pisces and your escape can be addictive. So, the caution of alcohol or drugs. Now, for those of you who have a stable, long-time physical home, this is about you finding out something about your family or your parents, or maybe even your parenting style, about your country, your patriotism, um, that has popped your bubble, sort of. And it could be maybe, your house has some kind of structural integrity issue. But this revelation will be something like a release, an exhale, and a relief. Look towards the end of October when Mercury enters Scorpio, bringing information which enlightens you in this area. An aha moment in the making that helps you have that sort of navel gazing discussion with yourself. You are an adaptable sign, Sagittarius, plus being a fire sign, you will be able to adapt and burn a trail through it all. You are everyone's friend, so we are all rooting for you. Okay, so on the 4th, Mercury enters Libra. You will be busier and more involved with communication with friends and the group as the month progresses. Your focus did start with that when Mars entered Libra in the end of September. Sorry, that was my laundry buzz. Um, and for the single Sages, look to that shy, undecisive friend or a friend of a friend setup, or even a surprise meeting at a grocery store where a person approaches you. Um, any Sages that have a shaky or unhealthy relationship, the talk intensifies on the 12th when Mars enters Scorpio, and more information or maybe even an agreement comes around by October 22nd and on. For the Sagittarius that are head over heels or solid, you two are working on a reveal maybe, or secret or behind the scenes preparations this month. Okay, the Mars in Libra that will square Pluto in Capricorn on October 8th has to do with friends and money or your value system. Libra is your friend zone, Capricorn is your money zone. You have had this experience before and you know the downfalls or the breakdown of friendly relationships due to money being involved or exchanged or promised, because Pluto in Capricorn has been here for the past 15 years. So, um, and mostly Sages, you guys do this because you are, overly friendly and very trusting, um, and you do like helping people out, but it has been to your detriment. So this square will not be, you've been experiencing this for the past 15 years, this square will not be so abrasive for you. If there is a need to say no to a friend regarding money, you will not hesitate because you know a maybe or a yes will be worse. Or I'm not saying don't help friends out, um, or set like a guideline for this money between friends thing, or a timeline or something like that. Um, Or this can be simply splitting an Uber ride bill and it annoys you or your friend because it wasn't an even split or something like that. It doesn't have to be drama. If your friend also happens to be a partner or family member, then this discussion with the square will have some heat. But again, you have graduated the Pluto and Capricorn University and you are the power broker now. So this square is in your favor. So it's all good. Now, a few days later, on October 10th, Pluto stations direct in Capricorn. Ta-da! And full stop. um, yeah, well, it, 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 it stations direct, but it hardly moves throughout the month. Those outer planets, those huge outer planets, well, Pluto's not huge, but they move really, really slowly. It's a grinding change, um, because it has to be a complete change. Uh, but yeah, it will station, and remember, if you have listened to my other videos, you know I have advised ad nauseum to pay attention to the day before, during, and after a planet is stationing to go retrograde or direct, because the hum is really loud. All the energy is stationary. Pluto is a powerhouse planet and an outer planet, like I mentioned, so quite significant to say the least. Capricorn rules your income and value system, your job. Um, it is sometimes associated with a marriage or a partnership as well. It is an important and equally emotional house, like the fourth house of income, the fourth house rather, of home and family, because it is the income, it is the money you make by yourself from the debt of your own bra, like, forehead. I don't know if I said it right. Um, and it is a value house, how you value yourself. So if somebody doesn't value the same, it gets an emotion. It's an emotional house. Suffice to say, this day is an important one to note regarding your income and your value system for a good long time to come. Remember, I said when they're stationary, whatever is happening then resonates throughout time. If you have been indecisive regarding a job, unclear of either working for the man or woman or working for yourself, who and what you will and will not sell out for, this station of Pluto will hum the loudest and the strongest. And um, you will know. You will know what you want to do. And of course, excuse me, when it goes retrograde through the same degrees, when it goes direct through the same degrees it was going retrograde, you'll have more information going there. We have a couple oppositions on the same day too. I will not mention these oppositions for everyone. I'll just mention them for some that have a significance for. But I'm putting it out there. Others may listen to this, and I think I've already put it in the planetary lineup for you guys to look over. But for you, Sag, on the same day that Pluto stations direct, the Sun in Libra will oppose Chiron in Aries. Libra is your friend house, and Aries is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, and pets. And then Venus in Virgo will oppose Saturn in Pisces. Virgo is your 10th house of career and status, and Pisces is your home and family life. Um, so when it's stationing direct your value system, your income system house, these two oppositions are in play. So you'll have a better picture of what else is affecting the energy. So there's friends and your love interests or children, and then your career and status, your reputation, authority figures, and your home and family is also in play. So the Sun in Libra, your friend house, I've written this down. I was just going off the cuff. Opposing Chiron, Aries, and Venus, like I mentioned, opposing Pisces during the stationing direct in Capricorn, says your friends may disagree with your value system regarding either your romantic partner or how you value or spend on children or pets, or maybe even gambling, plus your career or status, reputation, authority figures, uh, being now recognized in a favorable way because it's Venus entering Virgo. Maybe takes the time away from your family life. Um, Pluto's hum will be louder and will remind you that you are the ultimate boss, though, and decision maker in these areas. Um, and you will be able to handle your friends, lovers, children, career, and family as such. These oppositions will melt away and will bend to your will as you put your foot down. Uh, Oppositions, again, along with squares, I mentioned that I do like them. I love squares, but oppositions is you know where you stand. But with this, um, you will have the opposition in your favor. Okay. On October 12th, the planet of war in action, Mars enters mysterious Scorpio, your 12th house of secrets and behind the scenes, dreams, intuitions, and even hidden enemies. And also confining institutions like hospitals, prisons, um, or the such, your psyche, religion, and that. The stage will be set starting the 12th as you retreat and work on something behind the scenes, or you start your mental yoga ritual. And like I said before, the coupled Sagittarians may be working on a reveal of some kind, or a partnership, business partnership. You'll be working on that. But suffice to say, it is a behind the scenes or secret event. And then the rest of you, like I said, it's your yearly alone time to rejuvenate. Okay, let us talk about the solar eclipse in Libra. The first set of Aries, Libra, North, South nodes, respectively. Since this is the first eclipse of the Aries Libra nodes, it is powerful and it sets the stage or the theme. Stage or theme of what? Of this new adventure of Uranus entering Taurus, Pluto dipping into Uranus, and the end of Pluto in Capricorn age. I'm not going to go too much into that as I have discussed it in my previous videos, but suffice to say, Pluto has been in Capricorn for the last 15 years and will be leaving Capricorn and will not return to Capricorn for another 250 years. So that's why I title it An End of an Era, if you will. That is all I'm going to say about that because, like I said, I have talked about it and I will be discussing it more in the months to come when Pluto is nearing the end of its tour of Cappy. Yeah, that was a little getting off track, but I wanted to explain why this upcoming eclipse is important because it coincides with the closing of an era and beginning of a new one. So this new beginning, because solar eclipse is a new beginning, uh, this new beginning is to pay attention to, and it's the first eclipses of Aries Libra. Now, this new moon solar eclipse, I think it may be partial though. Um, Sorry, I didn't check. In Libra is your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, gym membership, even networking, and your hopes, wishes, and dreams, your future goals. My brother always says, don't say future goals, just say goals or your future. But that, whatever. There are three Sages here. First group will be making a friend into a lover, or a lover will feel like your best friend, and you guys will be like-minded in the aspect of freedom, of space, and adoration. um, Sages are a perfect match with Geminis. Your perfect match is always the house opposite of you, because they have what you don't have. And if the communication and the intimacy is there, it's a perfect match. But because, and opposites attract as well, um, so intimacy can be really cool. But a lot of people misinterpret the opposing signs. Well, they're not like me, they don't think like me. Well, that's the point, so that your spots are covered. I know, another sidetrack. Anyway, um, and Aquarius too, actually, and Aries. But what I'm trying to say is the freedom of space um, is there with these signs. Anyway, let's move on. The second group will be joining a new group of friends, a gym or an organization or a new network um, thing, or social media. Maybe adding more social media. Maybe because of this move you had or are going to go through to a new neighborhood. So it could be a gym or some health mind conscious routine, as both Jupiter and Uranus, in Taurus, your sixth house of health and habits, plus most recently Mercury in Virgo, ruler of the sixth house of health and habits, and it is your 10th house of career, have all shown you the benefits of having a healthy body to take on chaotic and sometimes overwhelming routines to further your career and status. So it requires a healthy mind too. These planets have made it clear that you cannot substitute one for the other. They're like gears to a machine. If one goes out, the other fails as well. So it is crucial to have a healthy body and a healthy mind, a relaxed mind. Um, because with Uranus in Taurus, it will be feast or famine. And Jupiter, God makes a mountain out of a molehill; it expands. So this house of routines and daily habits will at times be very overwhelming for you. Okay, I think I've mentioned it before, so I'm not going to bore you with it again. But I just want you to know that get that house in order. Okay, and like I mentioned, eclipses are like, movie trailers of a movie for the next 6 months to a year, or what have you, and then pay attention to the dates of the singular event of an eclipse or a stationing of a planet, because it resonates through time. And last month, I think I gave a perfect example. It's like, um, it's in the future, you will be like, oh wow, it was that day that happened, that I'm like this, or what have you. So yeah, so pay attention to the eclipse day. uh Uranus, even though retrograde, is quite active, like I mentioned, and is behind the scenes. So, surprises, um, shocking events regarding the money sign Taurus. Again, Taurus is your sixth house of service to others. So, that is related as well. As well, the sixth house also covers gossip and breaking your day into three sections of fun, sleep, and work. So, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, something like that. On the 17th of October, the Sun in Libra, your 11th house of friends, will square Pluto in Capricorn, your second house of money and income. Let me just um, hold on for me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pull up the lineup as well. Now I know why astrologers have like two, three different screens. I'm just starting out, so I can't afford that right now. So I have to stop it and pull up the other screen, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so getting back. On the 17th of October, the Sun in Libra, your 11th house of friends, will square Pluto in Capricorn, your second house of income and values. This is an ongoing convo from the 8th, continuing because we also have another Mercury um, conversation info opposing Chiron in Aries. Um, so look for 27 degrees in your chart to determine how and where it will impact you. Even if you don't have those degrees, like I said, it may be less drama than you think. This may be an airing out or a discussion of what happened on the 8th. Um, Regarding this headbutt with friends, lovers, children, and money or your value system. Mercury, I mean, I know what it is, but it's really hard to explain. As an example, I know it's a sliver of view of what it is. It's you think it's like a betrayal of a friend, or they betrayed you or something, but that's just a sliver. Um, So I just wanted to throw out there, because if I'm going to say I know what it is and not tell you what what kind of astrologer am I, but it's a small sliver. Anyway, Mercury moves into Scorpio. Um, Look for information and clarity on your inner self or behind the secrets project coming in on the 22nd and forward. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. So your 10th house of career and status, authority figures, and your seventh house of marriage, partnerships, um, contracts, and agreements, respectively. And Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, which Pluto is in Capricorn, your second house of job and income. Um, so this information Mercury is bringing and sort of clarifying your psyche is tied in and will benefit your career and status, your partners, and your income. Yes, Scorpio is your hidden self, your self contemplation, but this info and these houses are on top of your mind. So your alone convo and psyche will be sorting this all out, maybe by yourself first or with a partner. Um, and the two of you decide on something behind the scenes, or something like that. So look to this Scorpio house being involved. Okay. Lastly, we have the lunar eclipse in Taurus. I didn't mention the Juno entering Virgo. Like I said in my mono, I'm not going to mention everything for each sign because it's not significant. So excuse me for that. Um, okay, so yeah, we're on to the lunar eclipse because I covered the square and what have you. I didn't cover the Mercury and Scorpio trine Saturn and Pisces on the 22nd. So some information, again, an awareness. during your alone time will benefit your your home and family life. Like I mentioned before, Sagittarians are going through this hazy, idealistic family life, but also Saturn came in, so you're getting restrictions in that area, and then you're doing this two living arrangements. So some information on the 22nd, um, or revealed through your subconscious will help you better understand this living arrangement or this restriction. It'll be a little bit easier for you. And I didn't mention also the sun in Scorpio will trine Saturn in Pisces. So information on the 24th. So on the 22nd, you get this pleasing information from your subconscious regarding your family life. And then on the 24th, it becomes, out in the open because it's the sun in Scorpio. So it'll be out in the open and you'll see it for what it is, which is it's a trine, so it's a pleasing aspect. And some of you may not even really feel this because trines are soft aspects, but Mercury is at 0 with Scorpio 39, Saturn is at 0 with Pisces at 39, and then when the sun in Scorpio trines Saturn in Pisces, the sun is at 0, Scorpio 37, Saturn 0, Pisces 37, for those of you who are into the degrees. Okay, back to the lunar eclipse in Taurus. Taurus is your sixth house of health and daily habits, routines, schedules, organization, service to others. It's Virgo, so it rules small animals, so maybe your pets, um, health, medicine, um, and gossip. So something is ending here, so another thing can begin, or it is a culmination of what you have been toiling over since April of this year because um, Jupiter came in here, uh, so that you can take the next new step. And since Jupiter has been expanding your daily routine and schedule, your sixth house, since it entered Taurus back in April and is now stopped and going retrograde, the ballooning chaos in your sixth house, um, in this retrograde will slow it has slowed it down, or will slow it down a bit to show you where you can be more efficient. It could be just that, you deciding that you don't want to be involved with a certain project or a particular routine is not working for you, so you will end something regarding your sixth house as you prepare to run a tighter and cleaner sixth house after. You know what it is, but just be careful what you will commit to. I mean, not that you can change fate, it is a journey you need to embark, but how to get there is up to you and the choices you make. Remember, even though you are a mutable sign, a flexible sign, and can adapt quite easily, and you're a fire sign, so um, you're not lazy to start it, yet you are Diana, the epitome of Diana, um, freely and enthusiastically running through the woods with her trusty Dane. You freedom is really important to you. So, regarding your sixth house, it's jumping from the pan into the fire will not work for you. Your new routine and commitment to it has to cater to your freedom. It is tied to your fourth house of home and family. And luckily, you've had the past 2.5 years in this area to know what will and will not work with your home and family. You know the issues that can arise. So, in any case, your sixth house will be changing on a dime because Uranus is in Taurus as well. And you need to make sure you find a workable routine and schedule to accommodate the random. Otherwise, you will have to embrace the chaos. And both are workable, but ignoring, hiding from it, or procrastinating and letting your infamous luck take care of it will unfortunately not work, because another reason astrology is giving you is both Mercury and Mars will be opposing your ruling planet Jupiter in Taurus on the same day. On the same day. So yeah, you're hesitant. Your psyche is opposing um, this expansion of your sixth house. Um, but there was something else I wanted to say about this. Let me just go over what I just told you. Oh yeah. Um, so Jupiter. So this ending, this lunar eclipse of something in your sixth house, might be just temporary because Jupiter is retrograde, and come January it'll station direct and start moving forward again, and Jupiter expands everything, so it might expand it again, um, or bring on new things, new routines or schedules or service to others that you have to deal with. So this ending, um, the universe in its wisdom is giving you a chance for this ending so that you can be free to take on, when Jupiter goes direct, something maybe more important or more special for you. What I'm trying to say is a new beginning cannot start if an an old um, old habit does not die. So in order to open a new door, you have to close the one behind you. Something like a jewelry store. I know I can be random sometimes. All right, finally, the last few days of October, we will have Mercury and Mars both conjunct in Scorpio. You will start putting the information you have gathered behind the scenes into action. Um, well, the action already started, but this combination will work in tandem, um, and it will be a quick start, information and start. And the pleasing trine aspect between Venus in Virgo, your 10th house of career, and Uranus in Taurus, your 6th house of health and routine. So you see, this lunar eclipse, this ending, is agreeing with your career house. You get a better reputation and status in your career house, um, because then I think you will get a clue as to when Jupiter goes direct in January. You'll know what project it is that you will replace this ending with, that'll benefit your career. So you got this, guys. You got this. Okay, so that's it for Sagittarius. I am going to go into Taurus. So let me. Okay, so now we're on to Taurus. Taurus, your main themes in October is love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. Finding a working schedule that will allow you to enjoy any of the above or a combination of them. Your work or career is on top of mind. Also, you are still in the decision making process regarding it. Finally, and most important this month, it is all about your seventh house of marriage, partners, partnerships, contracts, agreements, and the seventh house also covers open enemies. And it really, it, it, it can cover, partners can cover anyone who really knows you well. It's the house of mirrors. So, someone who knows you really well that can reflect back to you how you're feeling inside. Um, and also this month, there is a partner's income and or shared property involved somewhat. So just to let you know that. Okay, so on the second, Mercury in Virgo. Virgo is your fifth house, so love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. Opposed Neptune in Pisces. Pisces is your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, networks. and your hopes, wishes, and your dreams. So um, that happened on the 2nd, just a couple of days ago. And it might have been just your new love interest, maybe. Your friends are teasing you about them, or they're just not getting along with each other. Or it may be you had a new child and you can't do what you wanted to do before, like before with your friends. It can be just simple things like that. But it already happened, and just look to the second to what it might have been about. That was at 25 degrees Mercury. On the 4th, Mercury today enters Libra. Libra is your 6th house of health and habits, your daily routines, organizational scheduling, service to others. Um, yeah, I mentioned health and medicine, and it is the house of gossip as well. So, Mercury entering that, it's going to be giving you information regarding your scheduling and your routine. So, again, if you have a new love interest, your schedule might change. Or if you had a new baby, obviously that's going to disrupt your schedule. But you're getting information on the 4th regarding that area of your life. On October 8th, finally, Venus leaves Leo and enters Virgo. And Venus has been in Leo since June, end of June, I think. But it went retrograde, and so we had that extra time um, in Venus in Leo. But on the 8th, 4 days from now, it will enter Virgo. So anything regarding your 5th house will start becoming more beautiful, more romantic. It'll be much smoother, um, and money may come in through one of those sources because Venus is associated with money as well. Okay, and on the same day, we have a square. Yeah, if you guys listen to my other videos, out of all the tense aspects, I do like squares and oppositions because they do jumpstart stalemates, and they're beneficial to both parties. So Mars in Libra, so your 6th house of scheduling, routine, um, and service to others, squares Pluto and Capricorn, your 10th house of career, status, a reputation, charity work, and authority figures at 27 degrees. So this might be something. So because your schedule may be changing because of a love interest or a child or maybe even a pet, um, it is it is it is squaring your 10th house of career and status, so that it can change. Why I'm hesitating is because I've mentioned before that something about your career needs to be away from you, it or at a distance, or you need a sabbatical from it, or something like that. Um, and you realize that probably between Christmas and March of this year. You may have a business at the house and you need to move it out of your house, or your career is set for you to maybe go abroad and head a new store, or it doesn't have to be abroad. It can be, um, um, domestic, but something about your career needs to be away from you. So Mars in Libra, your scheduling and routine, squaring your career house. It This area is where you're going to be, it's going to be in the background and you need to figure it out. Um, Again, if there's a love interest or a child or a pet involved, you have some decisions to make. Um, so this is an ongoing story. I'm going back to my notes. So this is an ongoing story and concern regarding your routine health and daily habits and your career status. For most of you, it also involves money. Like I have said in my previous videos, don't fear squares, blah, blah, blah. um, it does, but really, it does give you the energy to overcome shyness or indecisiveness to get the solutions you want. And I think I mentioned it. Finally, squares are beneficial to both opposing parties. It's not really a back down of one or the other. Oppositions are more of that sort of. If the situation includes your partner and or your family, then the discussion here will have some heat. But this is Pluto and Capricorn. You have had 15 years of experience of how to handle these power struggles, and you know either way how to resolve them. Even with the high stakes, Pluto will give you the stealthy resolve to make that decision. So look for 27 degrees in your chart on where and how it might affect you. For the rest of you, it may be a simple schedule change because your career changes, a promotion, a lateral move, or you take something else on. Um, as I have mentioned in September, something about your career is going to go through a change. So your routine obviously will go through a change, but your fifth house is affecting it as well. And this is a note regarding Mars being in Libra. I mean, Mars is the planet of war and action, um, and fights and things like that. And Libra is really is indecisive and wants harmony and is more diplomatic. So Mars and Libra can be constrained. Um, but for a square like this, you wouldn't want Mars in any other sign demanding action in your. Okay, yeah, it cut me off, but um, I was just saying you wouldn't want Mars in any other sign other than Libra demanding action in your 10th house of authority figures and status. Um, because Libra is just as powerful, but it's more diplomatic in its negotiations or fights. All right, so a few days later, on October 10th, Pluto will station direct in Capricorn, which is your 10th house of career status and reputation, as I've mentioned. Just to get it out of the way, if you have listened to my other videos, you know I have advised to pay attention to the day before, during, and after a planet is stationing to go retrograde or direct. Pluto is a powerhouse planet and an outer planet. It's quite significant. Capricorn is also very important. It rules your 10th house of career. Anyway, Pluto is ending its tour in Capricorn. So this is the lasting impression, so to say. And it's already left Capricorn and dipped into Aquarius, but but it has retrograded, and the reason for doing that is because there is unfinished business to take care of that Pluto wants to take care of. So, like I said, it's ending its tour in Capricorn and it's a lasting impression. So, suffice to say, this day is an important day regarding your 10th house career matters. If you have been indecisive regarding your 10th house matters, the station of Pluto will hum the loudest. The convo and info will resonate through time. So, like I've said, it'll be like one of those, oh, yeah, it was that day that changed everything. Something like that. It is a significant time. So pay attention. Also, as well, sorry about that. Um, it, it, it hardly moves this month. Pluto's an outer planet and it's a slow grind. So uh, it hardly moves. But I'm going to mention a couple of oppositions on the same day, which may help you pinpoint what it is you're looking for when it's stationing. Okay, so the sun in Libra, your sixth house of work habits and daily routines, will oppose Chiron in Aries. Aries is your 12th house of secrets behind the scenes, um, your psyche, your faith, religion, confining institutions, dreams and intuitions, and hidden enemies. Excuse me. So, um, something regarding your scheduling and your routine is not sitting well with your house of secrets. Only you know that. House of secrets, nobody can know what's going on. It is at 17 degrees. Sun is at 17 degrees. Chiron is at 17 degrees. So, yeah, it's opposing kind of a wound or a regret in your 12th house. Um, and then we have Venus in Virgo, your fifth house of love, romance, and children, will oppose Pisces, your 11th house of friends, groups, and associations. This is not really that complicated. The opposition, I don't know if I mentioned it before, maybe it's a new love interest that doesn't go along with your friends, or maybe your friends haven't even gotten to know him or her, or it might be a new child or a new pet that's taking you away from your friends. But somehow everything is wrapped up. So when Pluto's stationing, we have these two oppositions. So we have your sixth house of routines involved, your 12th house of secrets, but some kind of a wound there, a hurt, a regret. And then we have children or romance or pets and your friends. All these are involved regarding your career. So I'll look to that. And those oppositions may give you another clue. You might be a psychologist. Your career might have something to do with psychology. I know a lot of Taurians who are psychotherapists and into that. Okay, so let's move on to October 12th. October 12th, the planet of war in action, Mars, enters alluring and mysterious Scorpio. They are your seventh house of marriage partners, contracts, agreements, and open enemies. The stage will be set starting the 12th as action and information regarding your seventh house will start heating up. Information will really come in with Mercury towards the end of the month. And that is exactly what you need with Pluto stationing direct. So this whole thing starts moving. Agreements can be made, contracts can be pulled, things like that. Okay, let us move on to the solar eclipse coming up. And the solar eclipse, I don't know why this page is hiding. Annoying. Okay, the new moon solar eclipse is on the 14th in Libra. And this is the first set of Aries, Libra, North, South nodes, respectively. This is the first eclipse of a set of eclipses to come. And since it is the first eclipse of the Aries Libra nodes, it is powerful and it sets the stage or the theme for a new era. And why I'm saying new era is because we have Pluto exiting Capricorn by next year, and we had a powerful new moon in Virgo last month. So everything's new, and Pluto takes 250 years to do the whole zodiac. So when it ends the tour of a certain sign, and this Capricorn was 15 years, and it'll do the next sign for almost 20. So it's really an end of an era. That's what I've titled it. And these eclipses are falling in the same timeline. So it's setting the theme for a new era. Excuse me. Okay. So a new solar eclipse, I think it may be partial. In Libra, your sixth house of health, habits, daily routines, service to others, inclusive of small animals, because Virgo does rule small animals, and Virgo rules the sixth house. Not that Virgo is involved here, but I'm just letting you know. Okay, so obviously for the Taurians, with a new love interest or a new child or a new pet, or maybe an elderly pet, your daily habits and routines will be set. This new solar eclipse will show you a new set of routine or scheduling that might work for you, and also set your intentions. But either day of the eclipse or the eclipse day itself. So for the Taurians that are dating, something about your routine and scheduling is set to change, or you may be a Taurian who works with animals, or a brand new vet, or you may be in the medical industry or elderly care of a family member or work in that industry. Whichever Taurian you are, look to this new moon solar eclipse for a new opportunity to get your routine and schedule on track, especially the Taurians with the new babies. Always sleep when your baby sleeps. Everyone's guilty of of doing things when the baby sleeps, but yeah, especially if you have a colicky baby. Okay, on the 17th, Mercury in Libra will oppose Chiron in Aries. And we had this opposition. Let me just go back. We had the Sun. So now we have Mercury information regarding your daily habits, opposing a kind of a regret or a wound in your secret house happening. So the Sun was first, now you're getting more information. And this doesn't really have to be like I'm doing air quotes, bad thing. Mercury is the information planet, so it might be you'll understand why it happened or why you felt that way on the 17th. Also on the 17th, Juno the bride enters Virgo. For the Taurians that are inching closer for a commitment, this might be the day she may pop, or you may pop the question, because Virgo is your fifth house of love and romance. It's not a marriage house. It's a true romance house. So you might be taking it to the next level on this day. Okay. On the 20th, Mercury in Libra will square Pluto in Capricorn. So we had Mars doing this earlier, and now we have Mercury. So the action happened. Now you have the information squaring it. So something about your scheduling and your career. So now you're getting information as to why this opposition is happening. Okay, on the 22nd, Finally, Mercury enters Scorpio. Look for the information, clarity, and the conversations that had the heat back on the 12th and all this time in your seventh house of marriage and business relationships or contracts, to have more information about why that heat was, why that action was. This moves forward a lot of things with your partnerships. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini, your fifth house of love, children, and creativity, and your second house of income and value system, respectively. So the convo will include love, children, and most important for the money sign of the zodiacs, it's going to be money, money, money. um, so the information will you will be talking with your partners regarding children or love or creativity, and then money is involved somehow. Okay, on the 22nd, also we have a nice aspect. We have Mercury in Scorpio, so information from your partners will trine Saturn in Pisces. So since March, maybe April, you've been feeling some kind of restriction, constriction with friends or groups or your network circle. But here on the 22nd, some information from your partners will be pleasing regarding your network circle, your friends. That is at 0, 0. Mercury's at 0, Saturn is at 0. And on the 24th, 2 days later, the Sun in Scorpio will trine Saturn in Pisces. So first you get the information, then it is front and center. It is obvious. It's the Sun. Something about your partners will have a pleasing aspect to your friends or what have you. Okay, let us discuss the full moon lunar eclipse in your sign, Taurus. This is your first house of self, personality, physical appearance, and or your CV. There are two Taurians here. One set of Taurians will be discussing your new title to be with the other. The other set of Taurians will be discussing maybe upgrading a serious dating relationship to an engagement, not necessarily a marriage. And then there's the other set of Taurians that will be discussing a split, separation, an ending, or a buyout if it's a business partnership. Or it can be an end to a career partnership with someone. It's like I told you, this career thing needs to be at a distance from you. Or a solution with an open enemy, it may be. So an enemy can end, and you are amicable. Obviously, yourself will change after this. Thus, the lunar eclipse in your sign. So something about you is ending, um, or it might be a culmination of what you've been working on for the past 6 months or so. Okay, now for those duets that are dueling and going towards a split. Again, this is not out of the blue, so I'm not talking to you solid head over heel Taurians. This is not a surprise or a jolt or sudden. I'm talking to the Taurians who have been dealing with this and have seen this coming, and even probably had the discussions with your partner and yourself. Or it might be the ones who have already split, and there's just discussions taking place on what to do with the property or children or what have you, whatever goes through that. Um, but but it is a lunar eclipse, so it is an ending or a culmination of something. But we do end the month on a good note on the 31st. Um, well, before we do that, the on the 29th, the last few days of October, we'll have Mercury and Mars conjunct Scorpio. The information and conversation will be put in action and will move rapidly for a conclusion towards November and Christmas. So, yes, for those that are talking about splits or separations or buyouts, um, or even engagements or future discussions of marriage, this Scorpio energy moves really fast. So it will move really fast for all Taurians, for everyone really. But the last final specks of Scorpio ends towards Christmas. So final conclusions are you're looking towards Christmas for final conclusions. There will be a pleasing trine aspect between Venus and Virgo, your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. Venus is already blessing this house since the 8th. And Uranus in your sign, your first house of self. And that's at the end of the month on the 31st of October. So you have this lunar eclipse in your sign. So something is ending. And then you have a nice aspect on the 31st between your love interest and or your child or creativity that is responding well to Uranus in your sign. And it might be a simple change of style of clothes or heels, flats to heels or heels to flats, or but something about you physically will end on the 28th. And then on the 31st, yeah, something new will begin. Well, it's not something new that begins on the 28th when you're ending, you're starting something new. And then on the 31st, your fifth house is pleased with this change. Sorry if it was like stop and start. I was thinking a lot of other things, and I don't want to give out too much information because it hasn't happened yet. And I'm just trying to make it all mesh. Sorry about that. Okay, so that is it. And I hope you enjoyed the pictures as well. And we will move on to Libra. Hi, Libra. How you guys doing? Okay, this is your turn now. So I'm going to start the slideshow so you don't get too bored when I'm giving you the rundown. Okay, your main themes in October are, and most important this month, towards the starting this month and towards the end, it is all about your money, 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 where we find Mars putting the heat on and Mercury coming fast with information, conversation, and negotiations towards the end of the month. The 12th is the day to set your intentions. That's when Mars goes in. Because the 22nd, it moves rapidly from there till about Christmas, where you see tangible results regarding your second house of money, job, income, and so forth. You are continuing to work behind the scenes. I was just checking something. Um, or just simply disappearing at times to work on your schedule, maybe, or your routine, or delving into your psyche, trying to keep the faith, so to speak. Um, In about a week, you will see these trees from the forest as Venus finally leaves Leo and enters Virgo and blesses her picky, anxious self. And so too your 12th house of behind the scenes and confinement. Also, whatever was stuck or on repeat regarding your fourth house of physical home, or maybe renovations to it, and family or parents, parenting, your country and your pride starts to see some action or revision now. That will be Pluto stationing direct. Then, of course, we have the new moon solar eclipse in your sign. Ta da! And a lunar eclipse in Taurus this month. Okay, so we have a lot to discuss. Let's get into this. On the 2nd, we started the month with Mercury in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces, your 12th and 6th houses, respectively. This happened, like I said, on the 2nd, a couple of days ago. Virgo is your 12th house of secrets and spirituality, and Pisces is your 6th house of routines and daily habits. And your health, maybe, so maybe you needed to just take time away from everything and everyone and your schedule to be by yourself to rejuvenate and so forth, or you were working on a new you to be unveiled when the sun came in to your sign, and that was not sitting well with your routine. But anyway, you knew what happened because it happened a couple of days ago. Okay, today Mercury enters your sign, Libra. You will have the gift of gab for a good few weeks from today forward. And I love the way Librans talk. They're like Virgos, very amusing, witty. I would say witty, but in a very diplomatic way. You guys make the best ambassadors. All right, Mars in Libra. You're Well, before, why am I jumping to that? So, Mercury, yeah, we got that Mercury. On October 8th, Venus enters Virgo. So, anything behind the scenes or in secret or confining spaces, your spirituality um, or your mental yoga is going to get blessed when Venus enters Virgo. Mars in your sign, your first house of self and appearance and physical self, will square Pluto in Capricorn, your fourth house of home and family, on the same day as well. That's this is a stalemate regarding yourself and the way you appear, that maybe your parents, family are concerned about, or since you've been inside your head most of August and changing something about yourself at the end of September till now, you may feel that your physical home or maybe even furniture needs a revamp to suit your new style. Otherwise, it could simply be your new haircut gets a critical review from your family. Uh, I don't know. It can be anything. But in any case, it's a square jump starts a stalemate here. It gives you the energy to overcome your infamous indecisiveness to get the solutions you want. Also, squares are beneficial to both opposing parties. It is not like a back down of one or the other. Oppositions are sort of more on that level. Look to 27 degrees in your chart on where and how it might affect you, or to get a further clue on this square. But you got this. You're good. So, a few days after that, on the 10th, Pluto will station direct in Capricorn. Another time, um, and I'm saying this because Pluto is is nearing its ending tour of Capricorn. And these last retrogrades and stay in direct motions of Pluto and Capricorn are important. And if you have listened to my other videos, you know I have advised ad nauseum to pay attention to the day before, during, and after a planet is stationing to go retrograde or direct. It hums the loudest, all that energy. So it gives us clues as to what it's about. Pluto is obviously a powerhouse planet and an outer planet, quite significant, to say the least. And Capricorn, again, rules your very emotional fourth house of home and family. Even though it might feel cold at times, Capricorn can be like that. But uh, still, the fourth house is an emotional, fundamental base house, foundational base house. Anyway, Pluto is ending its tour in Capricorn, like I mentioned. So this is the lasting impression. Suffice to say, this day is important regarding house and family matters for you, Libra. It will resonate through the future. I mean, it still has the direct motion to go through a few more months, and next year it'll go out. But the stationing in this day, the stationing day is when I want you to pay attention, to get a clue of how this final chapter will end. It will resonate through the future, like I said. Mars is in your sign, and Pluto stationing direct will definitely make you throw caution to the wind about your indecision to get some action going. Or it might simply be you become a powerhouse to deal with those stalling contractors or the renovations that never get finished, um, or that one spot in the wall that, you know, never gets fixed. Or you lay down the law with parents or regarding parenting. We also have a couple of oppositions on the same day, too. So let us take a look at those to give you a clue where and why you may have indecisions regarding your fourth house of home and family. So the sun is in your sign and it opposes Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer, the maverick, the master teacher, but more of a compassionate teacher than Saturn. And Aries is your seventh house of partnerships, partners, contracts and agreements, house of open enemies. Um, and then at the same day, Venus in Virgo, your 12th house of secrets and behind the scenes, opposes Saturn in Pisces. Again, your sixth house of health, habits, routines, scheduling, and service to others. So, well, the sun is in your sign, like I said. It opposes Chiron, some kind of wound in your seventh house with your partnership, some kind of wound, some kind of a regret. Um, yeah, emotional. And then Venus, like I said, in Virgo and Saturn Pisces are dealing with your sixth and 12th house. Yeah, your alone and disappearance time conflicts with your habits, maybe, where your partners are questioning whether they really know you or not, or one of you is doing some kind of a secret. I mean, it doesn't have to be, a nasty secret. It can be like a surprise for a partner, but it's a secret. And it might be causing the family parenting home issue for most of you, for the ones. Or it can be much deeper. And if there is a split or talk of it, this will be the issue that is on your partner's mind. And of course, partners. And of course, the wound over here, the regret with your partners. So, yeah, there's some emotions getting stirred here. Um, what did I want to say? Oh, partners can also be business partners. It doesn't have to be marriage partners. You might be buying a business partner out. Um, so there may be regrets there from them or you or something, or you might be getting bought out. But suffice to say, it is you and partners. There's some kind of a wound or a regret, and then something about behind the scenes or secrets, or a confining thing, and your health and habits and your routine. They're all affecting your home and family and parenting. So those are the oppositions. I'm not going to go too much into that. Um, don't forget, Uranus is in Taurus, giving you unexpected surprises in your joint finances and intimacy house. So all of this is connected somehow. For the Librans, I'm just going to say, for you solid Librans, or single Librans, or dating, and everything's peaceful and uneventful, this doesn't apply to you. And as always, look to the degrees. And in my monologue in the beginning, you will find the chart with the degrees, to see if it affects you at all, and where and how it will really affect you. Um, but for the solid Librans, or the single, or the blissfully happy dating engaged Librans, this can be small, normal tiffs. Um, and you certainly know what it is, because one of the houses is the secret house, and no astrologer really knows what's going on in your psyche. But I will mention, for the sliver of Librans who are having an affair, or even something not related to an affair, but in secret, like I mentioned before, something innocent, but it's in secret. Um, be mindful and fair to not only yourself, but your contracted partner. Uranus has a habit of revealing things at the most inopportune of times. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because Uranus really scares me. I don't know if I've mentioned this in my other videos, but it really truly scares me. Oh my God, I got the giggles. Maybe because I'm tired. Oh God. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. So yeah, it has a habit of being quirky, and just doing things shockingly, just for the effect of it. Um, and Libra is all about the outer appearance, beauty, and distinguished manner, and sort of speak. It's all about the Joneses. So you don't do well with your pants down, Libra. So either wrap it up or come clean, even if it is a surprise you're planning in secret for your partner or what have you. Um, yeah, Uranus it might be retrograde, but it's still working its magic. It might be quiet, and Uranus does not do quiet. Anyway, let's move on. That's enough. Let's go on. Oh my God. I don't know why I got the giggles. Okay. 12th, on October 12th, um, the planet of war and action, Mars, enters all or nothing Scorpio. Ooh. That is your second house of job, income, and your value system. The stage will be set starting the 12th, as action and information later on regarding your job and income, or your value system, will start in earnest. It may be a raise, a promotion, a lateral move, or you may be preparing to get a certificate. You're preparing to be certified, or more school to get to the next level in your job, or you may be leaving one job for another, or it may be setting up a second source of income, maybe may be passive or otherwise. But there is a reason for you to think about your routine and schedule at the same time with this, because it is highlighted. Which, if you have been working on that, it seems that your new routine and schedule will work out for you, as the next day, yay, Mars in Scorpio, again, your second house of job and value, will trine a nice, pleasing aspect. Saturn in Pisces, your sixth house of routine and schedule. Excuse me. And straight after that, we will have the new moon solar eclipse in your sign, Libra. So, yeah, wow. So, as I mentioned, this all moves very fast thanks to Mars having been in your sign and then coming into Scorpio, and a new you with the solar eclipse in your sign, with a new, maybe new job, income, side job, passive income that works with your new routine. Ah, perfection. I love when the stars line up like that. Yeah, this looks nice. This looks actually really nice. Okay, for the engaged or dating Librans, all this fits perfectly too, as we have on the 17th Juno, the bride, entering Virgo, your 12th house of secrets. You, him, or her will be discussing marriage or engagement a few days after the solar eclipse, or solidifying that conversation that maybe happens on the eclipse. Um, but it's a lovely aspect, and as I've mentioned in my other videos, I usually don't mention asteroids, but I do when they're at 00 like this, because they are significant. So I did jump ahead of myself regarding the solar eclipse, and don't think I wasn't going to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. So we're going to go back. I know I jumped all the way to the 17th. So we're going to go back to the 14th with the new moon solar eclipse in your sign, Libra. This is the first set of the Aries Libra North South nodes, respectively, eclipses. And since this is the first set of eclipse, it is powerful, and it sets the stage or the theme for the new era, if you will. I mean, for this transit of Aries Libra in the North and South nodes, but also it sets the stage for a new era, as Pluto is also exiting Capricorn by next year. It's been in Capricorn for the past 15 years. And Pluto takes about 250 years to make a full round. So I would say I am qualified to say that it's ending of an era and beginning of a new one, um, even though it hasn't made its full round yet. But 15 years is a long time. And then when it goes into the next sign, it's going to be 20 years. So this eclipse is setting you physically, your physical self, because it's in your sign, and personality wise up to coincide with this new era. Whether this will be a single, engaged, separated, dating, divorced, or a new mom or a new grandmother Libra, or a new aunt, or what have you. It look to the new moon solar eclipse um, to reveal something new about you, or you may be doing the revealing. I'm super excited because Librans are so pretty too. And when I'm saying it's the ending of an era, because Pluto was in your home and family life, and that strain or power struggles and whatever is coming to a close. So it naturally affects you personally, out physically. um, if kids or kid problems were involved too, or if you had kids and now they're grown, you start looking different. So yeah, new you on the new moon solar eclipse. Okay, on the where are we going? So we discussed the 17th with the opposition and Juno. So now we're on to the 20th. Mercury in Libra um, will square Pluto in Capricorn. So on the 20th, you will be doing the negotiations, the talking back, um, the setting the law down, agreement, contract regarding something about your home, family, parents, or parenting. Squares are hard aspects, but like I've said, they're good aspects. They jumpstart stuff. So here you are in control, and you are squaring away. Hey, squaring away, square something in your home and family life, and it can be anything. But you already know what this. You have a clue about what this is about because, like I said, Pluto has been there a while now in your home and family. But it could be also an aging parent where they want to stay in their two-story home, and you're saying no, we got to get you to a single flat home or what have you. It could be something simple like that, but something about your conversation squaring away your home and family life. You're laying down the law, sort of. Okay, on the 22nd, as promised, Mercury comes in fast into Scorpio. The action you started to take regarding your second house of job, income, and your value system earlier on the 12th, when Mars left your sign and went into Scorpio, you will now be getting the feedback, the information, or you may be looking over contracts to sign or agreements regarding those actions or what have you. Maybe it was a probation period, and now things will be signed. Mercury rules contracts and agreements. Mercury also rules Gemini and Virgo, your ninth house of travel, higher education, and people at a distance, and your 12th house of secrets and spirituality, respectively. So, for some of you, it might be, you having to dish out more money to maybe a child who's away at school, or you're going back to school for something and you're having to pay money. And I don't know why the House of Secrets is involved, but maybe if it's your child, maybe you're keeping it a secret from your spouse because they'll get angry and you're just a softie. I don't know, something like that. For another sliver of Librans, the feedback and/or info agreement will somehow include, yeah, travel, education, or someone at a distance. Maybe it's not your child, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a friend, and something that was building behind the scenes. As always, look to the degrees to see where and how this may affect you. So, Mercury, anyway, that's at 0. Yeah, because it just enters Scorpio. But why did I say? Oh, I see. Because I mentioned Gemini and Virgo. Never mind. I confuse myself sometimes unnecessarily. I might add. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. Okay. Lastly, we have a lunar eclipse. Well, before lastly, let's talk about the nice, pleasing aspects. After that long-winded Gemini and Virgo, I brought in those two. Yeah. On the 22nd, Mercury in Scorpio, your second house of job and income. So some information will trine Saturn in Pisces. Oh, excuse me. So something about your health habits and routine, scheduling service to others. Um, I know a lot of Librans are in the health industry, the elderly care industry, service to others industry. So maybe this is about a raise or a promotion or a new job because it's training um, your routine and service to others. So it's a good aspect. And that's at Mercury 0, Saturn 0. That's on the 22nd. On October 24th, the Sun in Scorpio this time, trine Saturn in Pisces. Yeah, maybe this thing behind the scenes or in secret is about your job and income, a move, a lateral move, promotion, whatever. But on the 24th, then it will be the sun will be shining a light for all to see. So this pleasing information on the 22nd will be revealed to all because you have the trine, Sun 0, Saturn 0. Okay, now we can talk about the lunar eclipse. So on October 28th, a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. Taurus is your eighth house of sex, death, and taxes. That's just the title. Sex means intimacy, true intimacy, deep down intimacy, um, trust, really trusting your partner. Death is allegorical. No astrologer can predict death, so it's a ending and a new beginning. The phoenix rising from the ashes because it's a foundational rebirth. And then taxes, mainly because it's the house where you benefit from your partner's income or shared property, joint finances. Inheritance is covered in here as well. Lump sums of gifts, um, like maybe payouts, lawsuit payouts, like a class action suit. And of course, it's Scorpio and ruled house and Pluto, so it's anything taboo and down and dirty, and really, really, yeah, really taboo secrets, things like that. As I have explained, this house is regarding true, deep down intimacy and trust. Your partner's income or money and gifts you benefit from others. I'm just reading off my notes, but I was just saying it before without the notes. So you will see an ending, a culmination of your past efforts, or a transformation in one area or a combination of areas in this house. If it is an ending, that was weird. Stopped it. If it is an ending, um, weird. Anyway, if it is an ending, it is so something new can replace it. Because if the old does not end, it's like musical chairs. The new will not be able to take a seat at this table. So let us take a look at the oppositions that are happening on the same day to get a better clue of what's going on. So Mars and Mercury rather, in Scorpio, your second house of job, income, and your value system. Let's not forget that. Will both oppose Jupiter in Taurus, your eighth house of sex, death, and taxes. So the full moon, an ending or a culmination of your past efforts, is in regards to your personal income or your value system that is somehow in opposition because of this opposition regarding maybe a taboo. It could be an affair, trust or intimacy issues, or it could be about money, shared finances, or shared property. Now, for the already separated Librans, this will be a natural discussion to have at this time. Um, so, but this discussion about trust or intimacy or an all in or nothing demand may come up. Your eighth house has been expanding since April of this year when Jupiter entered Taurus. And it just recently stopped and started going retrograde. So it's reviewing this expansion in this house. So the expansion could have coincided with a marriage where you started sharing your resources and property with a partner, um, and had more sex obviously. So that expansion of Jupiter could have been that. But for the Librans that were having partnership issues, Jupiter can also expand um, problems in any house, just so it's front and center. And Librans are really indecisive, um, because they're so diplomatic. So the universe, in its wisdom, starts to put these planets in, like Jupiter, expanding problems for you to finally, so sorry, take heed, notice, and start doing something about it. Um, so, whether it has been a good expansion or ballooning, the issues in this house, it is culminating with this full moon. If it is some sort of ending, you are already aware of it and are wanting to end this deadwood as you contemplate the new, and that will take its place. If this is a strong duet in partnership, engagement, or marriage, again, business partnerships is included in this discussion, then naturally your old eighth house status will end and a new one will begin, like I explained. Look for the degrees to see if this will affect you even, but most of you will feel some effect of it, at least financially. Finally, there will be a pleasing trine aspect between Venus and Virgo, um, between Venus in Virgo, rather, your 12th house of secrets, sorry, and behind the scenes, and Uranus in Taurus, your 8th house of sex, death, and taxes. Yeah, after this lunar eclipse ending or culmination, a nice pleasing aspect to both your secret and sex houses. Um, I'm I'm not gonna go there. I'm just not gonna go there. But uh, it could be just a drama thing, and then makeup sex is the best, but it can be something else that I'm not gonna go there. No. So nice ending. Anyway, that's how we end the month. Thank you, Libra. um, Gosh, I don't know why I laughed so much, and thank you for entertaining me, Libra. This was fun. All right, we're gonna move on. So bye, Libras. Talk to you next month, or maybe before that if I have something to talk about. Please give it a like. It really helps my channel. Subscribe. It's free. All right. Okay, Leo, your turn now. Let me start this slideshow so you don't get too bored while I do your synopsis. Okay, so your main themes in October, Leo, is your home, family, parents, parenting, your tribe, your clan, your country, and patriotism, and a whole lot of emotions to go along with it. Um, as first Mars, the planet of war and action, fires you up, and the information, conversation, and negotiation start in earnest when Mercury joins this bittersweet memory in the making towards the end of the month. Big family choices here. and they will be moving fast and furious with results that you want and or need coming by or after Christmas. Full stop regarding that. The other thing, you are continuing to work on resolving this money issue that has gone backwards and now forwards, with paperwork and appointments finally being set to resolve what is going on. And also the money issue, with there's something about money and inheritance or payouts or resolutions, and it's family oriented. So that's still occupying your mind. Another side effect that will help your home and family situation to resolve and move forward will be your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, and pets coming out of hibernation. You will start to see some action or revision here and moving forward. You, by the way, rule the fifth house of love, romance, children, pets, and creativity. Almost all children are your children. Any children you see, it's like, oh, like my child. Finally, a new beginning with your communication devices or commuting preference, or maybe even a clean start with a move that sets you up in a brand new neighborhood with brand new neighbors, maybe even your siblings and cousins, maybe your new neighbors. And with every beginning, of course, there comes a letting go of the old. Thus, we will have a lunar eclipse as well in Taurus in your 10th house of career status, reputation, charity work, publication, and authority figures. I think I mentioned that. Okay, we begin with a couple of days ago on the 2nd. My dog is sitting on this plastic bed and he's making this noise and it's annoying me, but I'm not going to get up. On October 2nd, Mercury in Virgo opposed Neptune in Pisces. Mm. And it was at 25 degrees, Mercury, Neptune at 25 degrees. So you already know what this is about. Virgo is your second house of job, income, excuse me, um, your value system. Um, and that happened a couple of days ago. So, like I said, you already know. I'm sorry. It was my dog. Okay, on today, Mercury will enter Libra. So, talk about your community, your neighborhood, neighbors, um, your siblings, your cousins, your communication devices, and commuting will will start. The gab will start in that area. Sorry, my computer is about to die. I don't know why it dies so fast. So let me just plug it in so I don't lose all this hard work there. Um, and then on the 8th, Venus will leave your sign. It's been in your sign a long while. And we've all been waiting for it to come out of your sign. I'm sure you have too, because when it went retrograde, it probably messed up some stuff for you. Um, and we'll enter Virgo. Virgo, again, is your second house of job, income, money. So I'm sure you're also very happy to have Venus leave your sign and enter your money sign. So anything about your money issues, your income, your job, this will start getting blessed, and you'll start seeing rewarding um, things in this house. I'm gonna stop it for 1 second because somebody's coming in, and the dogs are gonna. Okay, so that was that about Venus entering Virgo, your money house. Now, on the same day, Mars in Libra Libra is your third house of communication, communication devices and commuting, neighborhoods, neighbors, siblings, cousins, um, social media. So Mars in Libra squares Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is your sixth house of health, habits, daily routines, and scheduling, and service to others. It is also the house of gossip. On the same day, October 8th. So, just as Venus enters Virgo, blessing your second house of job and income and smoothing things out that have been going back and forth regarding your money house, just as you are resolving your money situation, maybe an unexpected expense with your communication devices or commuting may cause a problem with your daily routine and scheduling. Or it may be you are becoming busier with your social media and your health. Maybe your pets are getting neglected. Um, Maybe you and others are communicating on the best schedule about um, sharing uh, children activities, or maybe sharing caring for an elderly parent, or you may be in the medical field and your schedule is set to change that you don't agree with. Whatever your situation, this square will finally resolve something with your schedule and our health. Anyway, look for 27 degrees in your chart on where and how it might affect you. Okay, so 2 days later, on October 10th, Pluto will station direct in Capricorn. Yay! If you have listened to my other videos, you know I have advised to pay attention to the day before, during, and after a planet is stationing to go retrograde or direct. Pluto is a powerful planet, and Capricorn is a very serious sign, and it rules your sixth house of health, daily habits, routines, schedules, and all those stuff that I mentioned before. You guys are probably getting like, hey, you don't have to say it all the time. In any case, Pluto is ending its tour in Capricorn by next year. So this forward motion and whatever it does next year early is the lasting impression, and it will resonate throughout time and into the future. You have had power plays or issues in your sixth house of health and habits, especially with service to others. It is a Virgo ruled house, so hospitals, medicine, um, elderly care, parent care, or just elderly care is maybe if that's part of your profession, could have been, like I said, part of your routine. It has given you a reprieve the last few months while in retrograde, but the sleeping giant awakens. I should have had like the serious music in the background. Just kidding. But it does start to move forward, and if you have had issues, you may be surprised that you will see a more cooperative side of Pluto and Capricorn this time around and during its last legs as it's doing its ending tour. But again, it's doing a retrograde for unfinished business. And but you're used to this energy by now. It's been 15 years. So I'm sure you can handle this. Okay, so let us go on to the next. Both the Sun, Mars, and Mercury are in Libra and your third house of communication, commuting, and the neighborhood. You have been pretty busy tying up loose ends on this front, and for many of you, it has been an indecision regarding staying in your current neighborhood, part of the third house, or making a move, but a big enough move that it will be maybe a cultural shift. Not like another country, but moving from California to New York is a cultural shift. This can include your communication devices, maybe, and or completely ditching maybe gas and going electric, or never ever doing electric and sticking to gas cars. It's all covered in the third house. Um, so this has been on top of mind for you. There's some kind of indecision about that. Um, I wanted to say something else about it, but I'll reserve it for next month. Okay, so on October 12th, Mars will enter Scorpio. Um, yeah, the planet of war in action, Mars. I actually wrote it better than just off the top of my head. Enters the emotional water sign of Scorpio, your fourth house of home, family, parents, parenting, and your country and pride. This stage will be set starting the 12th as action, and later information regarding this very emotional house for you will start in earnest. It seems that Mars coming into your home and family is what you needed. As the next day, Mars in Scorpio, your fourth house, will actually trine Saturn in Pisces. And excuse me, Pisces is your um, eighth house of sex, death, and taxes. And that's just the title of the house, but it refers to intimacy and real, true intimacy and trust. Um, it's the death here is allegorical. No astrologer can predict death. It's allegorical to an ending and a new beginning, but like a brand new beginning, foundational ending. And taxes, it refers to it's the money that you benefit from your partner or other people's hard work. It is joint finances, a shared property, it's inheritance, um, and it does cover Scorpio and Pluto ruled house. It covers the taboo and deep dark secrets and things that go boo in the night. I crack myself up. Um, so and your fourth house is trining this, so it's a good aspect between the two houses. Maybe somebody in your family gets an inheritance and you benefit from it or something like that, but that's the theme of it. And straight after, we will have the new moon solar eclipse in Libra, your third house of a new neighborhood or a new way of communicating or commuting, maybe with family members or parents. Um, so, as I mentioned, this all moves very fast thanks to Mars in Scorpio and a new solar eclipse complementing a new third house for you. For the engaged or dating Leos, we have Juno entering Virgo, your second house of income and values, and that's on the 17th. Um, you or him or her will be discussing a new neighborhood, or if it is a relationship at a distance, a new way of communicating a few days after the solar eclipse, or solidifying that conversation that happened on the eclipse and taking your relationship to the next level, maybe. Um, so, I did skip the eclipse, so let's talk about the eclipse a little bit more. Again, Libra is your third house. This is the first set of eclipses happening in Aries, Libra, which are in the north and south nodes, respectively. Since this is the first eclipse of the set, it is powerful and it sets the stage or the theme for um, the Aries Libra axis, and also it's just a theme for a new era. I'm titling it as Pluto is also exiting Capricorn by next year. So whether this will be a single, separated, engaged, married, or dating Leo, look to the new moon solar eclipse about a third house, new or a change, um, or a new communication device, new car, etc., etc., and etc. Mercury moves into Scorpio, the action you started to take regarding your fourth house of home and family earlier on the 12th. You will now be getting feedback and or looking over contracts to sign or agree on regarding those actions, or that action ends and you guys are at a distance and you start communicating thereafter, making agreements. Could play out that way. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, your 11th house of friends, groups, and associations, and your hopes and wishes as well, and your second house of income and value system. So you may be getting feedback regarding your home and family from friends, and regarding something about your value system, or it can be friends may interfere with your fourth house situation. As always, look to the degrees to see where and how this may affect you. But yeah, this is all like involved somehow. Okay, so I mentioned Juno. I'm just going through the lineup because I'm jumping into in my notes. I'm jumping to the lunar eclipse, but I know there's a couple of things before that. So on October 20th, Mercury in Libra will square Pluto in Capricorn. So earlier we had the Sun in Libra squaring Pluto in Capricorn. Now it's Mercury. So whatever action happened, now you're getting the feedback information on that square. And then I've mentioned that October 22nd, Mercury enters Scorpio in year fourth. So again, the communication, like I mentioned, becomes hot and heavy. On the 22nd, Mercury in Scorpio will trine Saturn in Pisces. So that's a pleasing aspect. And many of you may not feel this because it is a trine. On the 24th, a couple of days later, the Sun in Scorpio will trine Saturn in Pisces. Again, trine, pleasing aspect, and you may not feel it, but this is nothing to worry about. They're good aspects. So let's move on to the lunar eclipse. It is in Taurus. Taurus is your 10th house of career, status, charity work, publication, and authority figures. Excuse me. This is an ending or culmination of your efforts of the past few months or year of what you have been working on. If it isn't ending, it is making room for something new here as we are entering, like I said, a new era. But let us look at the oppositions happening on the same day to get a few more ideas or hints about what's going on. So let me just take a sip because I feel like a tickle, like a cough coming. So, okay. The oppositions. Mars and Mercury in Scorpio. So your fourth house of home and family will oppose Jupiter in Taurus, your 10th house of career and status. And then the full moon, an ending or culmination um, of your past efforts in your 10th house. So, in regards to your fourth house, maybe it's being neglected because something about your career and status has ballooned, or your fourth house needs some kind of organization and order as your status has changed, maybe from single to married or married to single, etc. Um, in any case, your status will, something about your status, your career, unpaid charity work, about authority figures will end. It's so again, between last year December and March, something did end here, and you did get sort of a reprieve, but it was like out of the blue. And here again, we have this lunar eclipse in your 10th house of status. Um, yeah, look, maybe your status will end and a new one will begin here. Again, look for the degrees to see if this will, as a matter of fact, affect you, infect you, and how it'll affect you, where it'll affect you exactly. Okay, so finally, we are closing the month with a pleasing aspect. Thank God, hallelujah. um, on the 29th, well, before the pleasing aspect, on the 29th, Mercury in Scorpio will conjunct Mars in Scorpio. So, again, regarding your your fourth house of home and family, both information and action is in tandem. It's cooperative, and it's powerful when you have both Mercury and Mars conjuncting in the same sign. So look to some kind of an agreement because Mercury rules contracts and agreements, as well as information. So some kind of an agreement, um, maybe tentative, because the last of the Scorpio weather will be over by Christmas or just after Christmas. So final conclusions and all that will be, after Christmas. But on the 29th, some solid agreement or discussion of an agreement. And then finally, like I said, we end the month on a good note. Venus in Virgo, your second house of job, income, and your value system, your money house, will send a pleasing aspect. It's a trine to Uranus in Taurus, and it is at 21 degrees there. So look for those degrees in your chart, to have a further clue on what it is regarding. But it's good because it's your money house and it's your career house. So it's a good aspect. And it's right after this full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus, and something culminating or ending in your career house. Um, so you had to get rid of the old over here, for your money house to start blessing your career house. So it's all good. The ending is good. Thank God and hallelujah. um, okay, so thank you very much for listening, Leo. Please give it a like. It really helps my channel, and subscribe. Um, okay, I'll talk to you maybe next month, maybe earlier if I do another video about something. But we're off on to Virgo. Okay, hello, Virgo. Welcome back. Um, and a big hello to all new Virgoans, and anyone else who's listening for the Virgo, if it's their other half. Let me start the slideshow for you so you're not bored with what I'm telling you. Okay, so Virgo, here we go. Your main themes in October are communication, commuting, your communication devices, cars, automobiles, airplanes, trains, social media, the spoken and written word, siblings, cousins, neighborhood, and your neighbors. You are also continuing to work on your physical appearance and CV, and Venus will be coming into your sign, and this will make any changes you do make be more alluring and pleasing. It will be blessing your first house of appearance. Whatever was stuck or on repeat regarding your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets and or gambling now starts to move forward, and or there may be revisions you'll be making. Finally, a new beginning or agreement in your second house of income and values, and an ending or culmination in your eighth house of sex, death, and taxes. So let's get straight into it. I will start with October 2nd. So a couple of days ago, we had Mercury in your sign oppose Neptune in Pisces. So that was at Mercury 25 degrees, Neptune 25. So you were doing the talking um, with a partner. You two had an opposition. You wanted something, and your partner wanted something else. And this was regarding your partnership. Now, a partner can also be a business partner. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going to take a sip of my drink so I can wake up. So, a partner can be a business partner as well, or anyone who really knows you well, who can hold up a mirror to you. It is called the House of Mirrors, after all. So, you know what that was about. That happened a couple of days ago. And today, Mercury entered Libra. So, discussions regarding your job, your income, and your value system um, started today, uh, and will continue for about 3 weeks. Okay, on the 8th, October 8th, Venus will enter your sign. Here we go. Um, this will be good for you. You will be more attractive, more alluring, and something about your looks or physical appearance may even have something money involved in it, because Venus also rules money as well. But yes, it'll finally leave Leo, hallelujah, and enter your sign. We're all very happy. Again, on the same day, Mars in Libra, so your second house of income, money, and value, will square Pluto in Capricorn, your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. Um, so squares, again, don't fear squares. They're good. They jumpstart stuff, or they get things done. And this can simply be your son or daughter who may be away at school, are needing more money than you budgeted for, um, or you might be traveling and they need some money. Um, so so that's that. Or it can your love interest is an expensive dater or eater, date rather. Maybe he or she chooses really expensive restaurants, or it can be your value system is disagreeing with either your love interest or your children's activities. Otherwise, maybe caring for a pet has an unexpected sudden expense. It doesn't have to be a health matter regarding your pet. Please calm down. It could be you are making a trip and you need to do a doggy hotel or something. Stay positive, Virgo. Anyway, look for 27 degrees in your chart to give you a further clue on where and how this might affect you. This square, but squares are good. Remember. So a couple of days after that, on the 10th, Pluto will station direct in Capricorn. Um, if you have listened to my other videos, I have explained that you need to pay attention to the day before, during, or after a planet is stationing to go retrograde or direct because it hums the loudest. I mean, all that energy and it stops. So it's going to jolt things to the surface rather. Um, and Pluto is very powerful. It's a very powerful planet, an outer planet, makes slow grinding changes. And Capricorn is a serious, very, um, yeah, business serious sign. And Capricorn rules your love, your romance, children, pets, and creativity, and gambling. So yeah, all those areas are pretty serious for you. And over the last 15 years, you have become the guru of love affairs, I might say, especially since Valentine's 2012, when Neptune entered Pisces and your partnership house. But this is not really a marriage house. This is true love or true romance. So it's more of a dating house, the fifth house. Um, but yeah, you have been some type of a guru on love affairs and children, or the next generation, or the generation after that. Um, they all do look up to you, or you know how to communicate with them, how to capture their attention. They look up to you. You're like the queen of the next generation, or king of the next generation, or something involving animals. And of course, you rule small animals in your house, so that's a natural. Anyway, Pluto is ending its tour in Capricorn, so this is the lasting impression, if you will. It is an important day regarding your fifth house matters. We also have a couple of oppositions on the same day too. Here again, so I will mention them in your case because I wasn't mentioning them in all of the readings, but your case, it involves your first house of appearance, your second house of money and value, your seventh house of partnerships, and your eighth house of joint finances. So, pretty significant. Okay, the sun in Libra, your second house of money, will oppose Chiron in Aries, your eighth house of sex, death, and taxes. And again, sex, death, and taxes is just the title. Sex means intimacy, like true, deep intimacy, true trust. And death is allegorical. No astrologer can predict death. So we're talking about an ending and a rebirth, but it's foundational. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's a rebirth. And taxes really, it's because this house is the house you benefit from other people's money. So your partner's income, um, joint finances, joint accounts, shared property, things like that. And Venus is in your first house of self, and it opposes Saturn in your seventh house of partners. Your income or value system is touching a sore point with intimacy, maybe. And Chiron in Aries it's a wound or a regret. I just forgot to mention that, but okay, so getting back, trust or regarding your partner's income or an inheritance or a gift as well. There may be a simple jealousy issue because of the changes you are making to your physical appearance with your partners. I mean, your partners are becoming jealous, or you could be jealous of your partner. Otherwise, it could be you are buying out a business partner, because of you going solo, or your side hustle thing becomes a full time thing, and your partnerships or contracts are being affected. Um, so look to the following degrees to see where and in how it might affect you. The Sun in Libra opposes Chiron in Aries. The Sun and Chiron is at 17 degrees. Libra 41, Aries 41. Venus and Saturn are both at 1 degree. Virgo and Pisces are at 0, 3. So look to those degrees in your chart. Maybe it'll give you further of a clue of what's going on. Okay, moving on. On the 12th, Mars will enter Scorpio. And Mars is the planet of war and action. Enters all or nothing Scorpio, your third house of communication, commuting, siblings, cousins, neighbors, neighborhoods. Your need to be heard and spoken. So the written and spoken word. Well, spoken word more. Social media, communication devices, not just communication, and commuting ability. So cars will be included, and maybe Google Maps or something. Excuse me. So your urgent focus and attention will start in this area. You and a partner might be looking into a move into a new neighborhood and or discussing a new mode of communication if you are at a distance, or you will be at a distance from each other. Or you could do a trade in of a car that has been giving you headaches, because the next day, Mars in Scorpio, your third house, will trine Saturn and Pisces, your seventh house. So yeah, it's something between you and a partner, and your third house of communication and commuting. So it's good, because straight after we will have the new moon solar eclipse in Libra, your second house of income. So this new source, or maybe promotion in your income sector, is why you are looking to upgrade in your third house. In any case, if you have ever watched, I want to, if you have, sorry about that, ever watched a scorpion in action, you will know what I mean next. So Scorpios can stay deadly still for a very long time. But when they do move rapidly, and when you least expected. Same too with your Scorpio related houses. Your third house matters will all move very fast this month, starting with the 12th, like I said, where the heat in action starts, and information coming in on the 22nd. But final results, negotiations, agreements, partnerships, consultations will really conclude after Christmas, by Christmas or after Christmas, when Scorpio activity ends. Then, okay, I'm so sorry. So we discussed that. Let me just pause it for 1 second because I've got an issue. Hold on. Okay. Let's discuss the solar eclipse in Libra, which is on the 14th. It's a new moon solar eclipse. Libra is your second house of income, money, and value system. It can also be related to marriage, can be a marriage house. Anyway, this is the first set of the Aries Libra um, axis. They're occupying the north and south nodes respectively. And since it is the first eclipse of a set of eclipses, it is setting the stage or the theme. So it's important. And I'm titling it Setting the Theme for the New Era because Pluto will be exiting Capricorn by next year, and it's been there for like 15 years. So this eclipse is setting up your income and value system to coincide with this new era. Whether this will be a promotion, a lateral move, a side income, maybe a passive side income. Um, so look to the new moon solar eclipse about a new job, a new income, new money management, value system. Maybe your financial accountant also asks you out. Who knows? Anything is possible, right? But yeah, it is lit up, and it's a nice new moon solar eclipse, so it's important. So something about your income and your value system. It's nice. All right. Um, for the seriously dating Virgos, could there be an engagement in the works? Maybe, as we have Juno, the bride, entering Virgo on the 17th. You, him, or her may be discussing marriage or engagement a few days after the solar eclipse, or solidifying that convo that happened on the eclipse. I don't know. But yeah, I usually don't mention, well, asteroids, but I mention them when they're at 00 degrees. And yeah, this came up, and when I was doing yours, I was like, yay! um, yeah, Virgos really deserve a beautiful partnership with all the drama you guys have been going through all these years. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, moving on. So let's see. On the 20th, Mercury in Libra will square Pluto in Capricorn. Again, Libra is your money house, and Capricorn is your love and children house. So you had the sun do that a few days before, and now the information is coming in. So you'll be understanding why it was brought to the front. You will get some kind of information regarding that. Sorry. Okay, and the next big planetary significance is Mercury moves into Scorpio. The action you started to take regarding your third house matters earlier on the 12th. You will now be getting feedback and or looking over, contracts, agreements, negotiations to sign or agree on um, for the next steps. Excuse me. It might be a lease. I don't know. I think you guys are like maybe a new. I don't know. There's something about the neighborhood that's new and contracts involved. Mercury rules Gemini, and of course you too, Virgo. So Gemini is your 10th house of career and status, as in Mrs. or Ms. or you know so and so's husband or the divorcee with a beautiful lab. Sleepless in Seattle. I don't know why I always remember that. The 10th house also covers authority figures, which all, of course, authority figures love you because you are such an efficient problem solver, and you really work super hard. And publication, too. Again, another thing you excel at. You speak and write well. I'm doing air quotes. In college, I had this class on speaking well or writing well. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Since you are ruled by the higher octave of Mercury, after all, of course, you would excel at these things. As always, look to the degrees to see where and how this may affect you guys. Okay, now we have before I discuss the lunar eclipse, we have two trines that are they're trines. Not all of you may feel them, but they're good stuff happening. So Mercury in Scorpio, so some information about your community or communication or commuting will be beneficial to your partnerships. Interesting. And then 2 days later, on the 24th, the sun this time in Scorpio will send good vibes, and it'll benefit your partnership house again. So the information on the 22nd, that is a trine, that is good, will be acted upon on the 24th. Mercury and the sun will be at 0. Saturn will be at 0. Anyway, I've put up the chart in the monologue in the early. Maybe you want to do a screenshot and you'll see the degrees, or you can just Google it. Okay. Sun, yeah. So we're on to the full moon. On the 28th, it's a full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. Taurus is your ninth house of travel, foreign lands, foreign people, people at a distance, travel in the mind, higher education, the law, philosophy, and all that good stuff. Uh, an ending or culmination of your efforts regarding these matters. You may be looking at your last semester before you graduate in spring, maybe, because eclipses give you a snapshot of like 6 months down the line or a year or what have you. As I mentioned in the monologue, if you listen to the monologue all the way through, eclipses are like movie trailers of like a 24, 48 hour movie trailer of the movie of your life that you will experience for the next 6 months to a year, or maybe even more. And with that ending comes a new beginning in this house, as Jupiter will turn direct in Taurus by next year. So Jupiter came in Taurus in April and started expanding this house for you. You started becoming very busy with ninth house matters, foreign people, people at distance, traveling, and all that, higher education. And it just stopped and went retrograde in September. So it has stopped the expansion, the ballooning, and you're doing a revision of all this stuff that's been happening in the ninth house. Jupiter will then stop its retrograde motion in January and then start going forward. And you can make the revisions then, or it can expand it again a great deal. So this lunar eclipse, I think, is working in tandem with Jupiter retrograde. Whatever is um, is in excess in this area is ending, or you may be ending it. Uh, but it is an ending or a culmination of your efforts. Maybe a long distance relationship concludes with him or her moving closer to you, or you moving closer to them. So an ending and a new beginning there. Or you could simply be finishing your book and sending it to the publishers. Maybe you will end your internship in the law office and thus your career being lit up, as I mentioned earlier. Let us look at the oppositions also happening on the same day to get a little bit more of a clue. So, Mars and Mercury in Scorpio, your third house of communication and commuting, will both oppose Jupiter in Taurus, your ninth house of travel, higher education, foreign places, people at a distance. So, one scenario could be trading in a car or communication. Excuse me, a car because you've been having issues with it and it's disrupting these two houses, or your communication device maybe gets a revamp because your old one was on its last legs and it dies on this lunar eclipse. It is an electric universe, so you never know when that oh my gosh, that Mayan calendar thing where all the planets were going to line up and all that. I forget which year it was. I swear to God, 11:11 p.m. I was walking, and I had my cell in my hand, and it went poof. Something electrified it. I don't know what it was. The weirdest thing, but it was completely fried. um, the T-Mobile or the insurance company thought that I put it in the microwave. I really didn't. I'm getting sidetracked again. Okay, sorry. So yeah, it might die. Um, and regarding this communication device, that maybe you'll be getting a new one after this eclipse because it was maybe not serving your ninth house properly. That is. Or maybe your company will now invest in Skyping instead of flying you out to consult with clients. Or you get a speeding ticket, God forbid, when you know better, or a brake light ticket because you didn't know, your brake lights were not working, or you may have been procrastinating on fixing it. I doubt Virgos procrastinate on anything. Or, like I mentioned previously, you, him, or her could simply move closer to each other as the long distance thing was getting old. Or you can also end something because it's not long distance is not working. In any case, something will end or culminate regarding your ninth house of travel, higher academics, foreign places, foreign people, people at a distance, publication, philosophy, law, so that a new thing begins when Jupiter turns direct and starts expanding this house again for you in the new year. And we actually have a nice aspect from Pluto to to Jupiter as it turns direct. But I mentioned that in my last September video, and I'll mention it again when we get closer to that aspect. So look for the degrees in your chart to pinpoint where and how this will affect you personally. And then finally, there will be a pleasing trine aspect between Venus in your sign, Virgo, your first house of self and appearance, and Uranus in Taurus. Ooh, Uranus, the planet of shock and surprise, in Taurus, your ninth house of travel and foreign people. Good. So after the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, the ending or culmination, a nice, pleasing aspect to both your outward appearance and your long distance travel or other areas serving the ninth house. Nice. See, something had to end for something new to happen here. And it's a trine. I mean, it's a good aspect, but I think you may feel this because it's after this ending. Very cool. All right, Virgo, if you did like this, please give it a like. Really helps my channel. Now we're going to go on to Capricorn, and I will end this video after Capricorn because it's gotten really super long. Excuse me, and then I'll have a new set for the next 6 signs. But next up is Capricorn, so get ready, Caps. Well, hello, Capricorn. Welcome back to returning visitors, and a big welcome to new viewers. I'm going to start the slideshow, so you don't get bored while I'm going through the synopsis of the month. So, Capricorn, your main themes in October are friends, groups, associations, networking, uh, the clan, like your clan, not like the clan, mentors, your hopes, wishes, goals, and your dreams. You're also continuing to finalize something regarding a trip or a travel. Um, could be a multi-people trip or travel, or coordinating with someone at a distance about a trip, or maybe higher academia, your classes and the meetups, or the World Wide Web or publication, all covered in the ninth house. And you're still setting up something about that, or tying up loose ends. Whatever was dormant or maybe on repeat regarding your first house of self, physical appearance, and or your CV will start to see some action and maybe revisions as well. Finally, your 10th house of career and authority figures are in play. And also, your 5th house of love, romance, children, pets, and creativity is in focus too. And then your 3rd house of communications and commuting is also involved. Okay, so excuse me about that. We'll start with really briefly a couple of days ago, Mercury in Virgo, um, which is your 9th house of travel in the mind, academia, opposed Neptune in Pisces, and Pisces is your 3rd house of communication, commuting, your neighborhood, and what have you. Ouch, excuse me. So maybe plans didn't pan out for a travel or a trip, or it got put on hold or something. But you know what happened anyway, because it was a couple of days ago. Today, as I'm recording this, Mercury will enter Libra. That is your 10th house of authority figures, your career, unpaid or charity work. So information will come from these people. You'll be communicating with them more. And on the 8th, we have Venus finally, and thank God, it is leaving Leo and entering Virgo. It was in Leo a very long time, but we're not even going to talk about that. So it's entering your 9th house of travel and academia and publication. So it's going to start blessing this house, and there may be money that Venus brings in regarding this house or through this house for you. Um, it could be that, but we have a tense aspect on the same day. So Mars in Libra, your 10th house. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I keep yawning today. Um, Let me take a sip of this very fruity drink. Hopefully that'll wake me up. Okay, so Mars in Libra, your 10th house of career and authority figures, will square Pluto in Capricorn, your first house of self, physical appearance, and or your CV on the 8th. Maybe it was a previous issue with your career, client, or an authority figure that you may have procrastinated on discussing with your authority figure, your supervisor or manager, and you're having that conversation here. Um, for most of you, it is something about your workload or your career and an authority figure butting heads. But squares, again, it is a tense aspect, but it can also be not butting heads. It can be putting your heads together to find a solution out of a tense spot or something that's not working. So please don't don't think that it's a bad aspect. I really like squares. They work in your favor. Um, if it is so, you are a Capricorn anyway. You will never fall from the high status you have meticulously climbed. You may get a finger waving now and then, but even then, the finger waver always comes around to apologize, or a higher up, or somebody who looks out for you makes sure you don't have a finger waved your way. You just hold a really prestigious aura about you. So I highly doubt anyone waves a finger at you. You are admired and respected, and like I said, something traditional, some kind of aura around you. You can thank powerhouse Pluto chiseling your persona to reflect that. I'm not worried. It's a nothing burger for a Cappy. This puny opposition. Oh my God. So, it's a square, but whatever. Puny. Also, like I said, squares are beneficial to both opposing parties. It's not a back down of one or the other. Oppositions are more like that. Uh, anyway, look for 27 degrees in your chart on where and how it might affect you. But I think you'll be just fine. Okay, on the 10th, Pluto in your sign, Capricorn, will station direct. Wow. A big day for you, Cappies. And as I've explained in my previous videos and throughout these uh, other videos, other signs rather, before you, the time to pay attention is the time when a planet stations, either retrograde or direct. It hums the loudest. All that huge energy is just is giving us clues, and it'll resonate through time, whatever's happening within those 48 hours. And Pluto is a powerhouse of a planet. It is an outer planet, a very slow and grinding change in our lives, quite significant. And Capricorn, it is your first house of self, physical appearance, and your CV. And Capricorn is a very serious sign. So if you have laxed in the area of your appearance rather, you will get on that horse once again, and with ease. Pluto is ending its tour in your first house by next year. So this is the lasting impression or the heaviness that you have been feeling, that you have had to endure, will be lifted soon. It is like a cast or a plastic surgery that will reveal a new chiseled magnetic you. You will feel much lighter. You have had people gravitate to you because you do give off a sense of authority. But now, after Pluto leaves your sign, you will enjoy that sense of authority without the heaviness, the restrictive, overbearing responsibility that you have been carrying um, on your shoulders for the past 15 years. Suffice to say, this day is important regarding yourself and outward appearance. It will resonate through the future. Mars is in your friend and mentor zone, having your back, and Pluto stationing direct. You'll definitely start to feel better, lighter, and wiser. Okay, on the 12th, like I mentioned, Mars, the planet of war and action, Mars enters um, your friends for life Scorpio, friend for life Scorpio. I'm describing Scorpio as a friend for life because they are. And it is entering your 11th house of friends, groups, mentors, and associations. I think I mentioned it before a little earlier. This stage will be set starting the 12th, as action will start in earnest. And then later in the month, Mercury will be coming into Scorpio with information regarding this house. But first, for the bad news. Well, it's not bad news. Caution. Um, since it is Mars, the god of war, and an all or nothing intense Scorpio, um, and it is your friend zone. So many people, or it could be just one person, but it's usually a group. Plus, we have powerhouse Pluto being in your sign. Um, I'm just cautioning you. Just if a disagreement starts to get a little heated, turn down the heat and don't jump the gun. If any conflict arises with your friends or the group, Pluto has taught you discipline, and a quiet, calm demeanor is more powerful than any shouting match can ever achieve or come up with a solution. I'm not saying to back down or shy away from a confrontation. Anyway, you can't. Pluto's in your sign. But diffusing the situation will put you in a stronger position, as later in the month you will accrue brownie points when Mercury comes into Scorpio to have the discussions regarding these actions that were coming from your friends. Um, the good news is that your friend and mentor zone will keep you busy and active, and you will be able to call on these souls for your side hustle or passive income endeavor that you have been thinking about. And I mentioned it in your September video more in detail if you want to listen to that. And regarding a move for a new neighborhood, you are really wanting a change in that area of home and family life. Something is just not suiting your style, and you're really wanting a move in that. So, a little in regards to something gnawing at you about your third house of communication, commuting, social media, or your neighborhood. It seems that you, like Sagittarius, if you have not moved or renovated, that will start also in earnest this month or next. This is somewhat crucial to your equilibrium. You feel that your home and family situation, mostly the living situation, and your neighborhood or renovation is one, way past due, and two, is not reflecting your status for some reason. This will work out for you, as the next day Mars in Scorpio, your 11th house, will trine Saturn in Pisces, your third house of neighborhood. And straight after, we will have the new moon solar eclipse in Libra, your 10th house of career and status. So, see, everything's like lining up, one after the other. Let us quickly talk about the solar eclipse in your 10th house of career and status, Libra. So it is a new moon solar eclipse on the 14th. And this is the first set of eclipse in a series of eclipses that Aries and Libra are currently occupying the north and south nodes, respectively. So, since it is the first eclipse, it is powerful and it sets the stage or the theme for, I'm titling it The New Era, as Pluto is also exiting your sign by next year. It's been there for 15 years, 15. So, this eclipse is setting up your career and status to coincide with this new era and a new you as Pluto leaves your sign. Whether this will be a single, dating, married, separated, engaged, Capricorn, look to the new moon solar eclipse about your career and status, reflecting your first house of self. And why I mentioned the single dating status, blah, 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 because it is the 10th house is also your status house. So Mr. or Miss or Mrs. or so on and so forth. As I mentioned before, Mercury moves into Scorpio on the 22nd. The action you or your friends started to take um, regarding networking, friendships, and what have you. On the 12th, you will now be getting feedback and or looking over agreements, contracts, negotiations. Mercury rules that. Mercury also rules Gemini and Virgo, which is your sixth house of health and routine and service to others, and your 10th house. No, I'm sorry, your ninth house of career and of travel and higher education and the law, respectively. Libra is your 10th house. So it seems that there is a particular friend that has been maybe either mentoring, advising you, or maybe even hindering your own way of doing things in these two houses. Um, you're quite a you're an intuitive person, you grounded person, so nobody can really sway you, but try not to make any changes until um, the 22nd, when Mercury will bring you information. In fact, slow down until about Christmas or a week after, where all the Scorpio weather movement will conclude and you will know what friendship is really about versus, you know, your intuition. I hope I didn't confuse you, but as your meticulous self knows, slow and steady wins the race. As always, look to the degrees to see if this will affect you. For the most part, it will, because it is Mars, Mercury, and the Sun, and Pluto is in your sign. So look to those degrees and to your natal chart to see how that is happening. And this friend thing can be a love interest as well, because you've been busy in that area. So after this new moon solar eclipse, we have Mercury in Libra opposing Chiron in Aries. It's an opposition So, information again from authority figures or your career and status is not sitting well with your home and family on the 17th. It is opposing you. It is opposing each other. So it can be anything, but it's Mercury at 17, Chiron at 17, and both Libra and Aries 31. So look to those degrees. But on the 17th, Juno, the bride, enters Virgo. Could you be proposing to someone at a distance? Or someone at a distance comes in and is can't be a mail order bride. uh, Maybe comes and you guys talk about uh, a bride. Anyway, Juno is at 00, Virgo is at 00. I like to mention, I don't mention asteroids, but I do when they're at 00. Like I said last month. On October 20th, Mercury in Libra will square Pluto in your sign. So again, information. So previously it was the sun, and now it's information coming from authority figures regarding yourself. But it's a square, and it's all squares are good. They're beneficial for both parties. Mercury and Pluto is both as 27, and Capricorn is at 55. On the 22nd, like I said, Mercury enters Scorpio. I'm just going through the lineup. Okay, we went all through that. So now on the 28th of October, we have a lunar eclipse in Taurus, your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. Since April of this year, this house has been quite busy for you, either with a new love interest or interests, plural, or having a new child, maybe, or looking after more children, getting a job, maybe as a teacher. Uh, if children is the case, or pets, caring for pets more. Maybe they became elderly, or maybe you got new pets, or you may have been gambling more since April. I hope not. But that was Jupiter entering Taurus in April, but it now has stationed retrograde and it has slowed the expansion to give you a chance to catch up, relax, and review. Part of that review may be you ending something here with this lunar eclipse, because it is in Taurus. It's an ending or a culmination of your efforts, maybe. Um, Maybe you have changed your mind or something is not working for you. You may have been dating different people and either you don't like any of them or you pick one and ended with the others. You may have had one child, um, and during this time had another one. So the way you've dealt with that one child will naturally end, and as you will find a new way of dealing with both children. Your pets may have gotten elderly, and you started caring more for this pet. And you might be in the process of letting go as the circle of life continues. Or your children may have left for school, and something may trigger your emotions on this day that your child is no longer a child and is independent now, but they still ask for money. Whatever the ending or culmination of your efforts in this house, it is to end something to start something new here. Because Jupiter will turn direct next year, and some new expansion will start, or something that was already happening, it will start, blossoming more again. Maybe you even pick that one love interest and decide to make it more serious. ending the dating ritual. Who knows? In any case, you will see an ending and or transformation, culmination in one area or a combination of areas in your fifth house regarding your fifth house matters. So let us take a look at the oppositions that are happening on the same day of this lunar eclipse to maybe further decipher it. Okay, so Mars and Mercury, I keep saying this for every, what's wrong? In Scorpio. So both Mars and Mercury in Scorpio, your 11th house of friends and groups, their action and communication. Uh, both Mars and Mercury will oppose Jupiter in Taurus, your fifth house of love, romance, children, pets, and gambling. So the full moon and ending or culmination of your past efforts with lovers or children because your friends and groups are opposing it. Look, it may be a friend turns into a lover and it has gotten messy, thus a reason to end it, or you may be a new parent and you're unable to be with your friends like before, or your friends are not liking your love interest, or your pet activity or gambling habits is interfering with your friends somehow. Taurus is a money sign, and money can somehow be involved as well. This is why I mentioned earlier when Mars entered Scorpio and your friend zone to try and not let the heat and action push you to do or say things in haste until Mercury comes around at the end of the month, so the 22nd, to have a little more info. And I will remind you again that by the end of the Scorpio transit, Christmas, or after Christmas, you will really know who your friends are and what a friendship is about. So just hold off on any key decisions or acting on advice from friends until then. Again, look for the degrees to see if this will affect you. But yeah, most of you will feel some effect of this. And if you're unsure about this friend's advice, family is the best. Wants the best for you, so you can bounce it off your family too. And I do know Capricorns have. There's a special their mother. Your mother is really very important to you. I mean, Cancers adore mothers and cannot live without them, but Capricorn, and especially with all the surprising changes in your home and family life, you and a mother figure, maybe not your mother, but definitely either a mother or mother figure, are close, and so bounce it off of her. Anyway, finally, we end the month on a good note because there will be a pleasing trine aspect between Venus in Virgo, your 10th house of career and status, and Uranus in Taurus, ooh la la, your 5th house of love, children, and creativity. Uranus. How Uranus scares me. Uranus, the planet of shock and surprise in your 5th house. Wow. So yeah, after this lunar eclipse ending or culmination, a nice pleasing aspect to both your career and status and your love, children and pet house. Nice. Your guardian angels don't miss a beat. Cappies, they really look out for you. Okay, I will end this video here, and please give it a thumbs up if you like it, and consider subscribing. And I will end this video completely here, and I will start. I will do a second part for the next set of 6 signs. So the signs that I have not done, look to the second part in a day or two to get that up. All right, guys, Talk to you soon. Bye. And good luck.